Yeah, I started the recording. So in our last session, we discussed about the array approach to store the list of student details of a university. Okay, we see several disadvantages in this approach. So in this session, we will see pointer approach. Okay, so we saw 1 second. Yeah, we saw the major disadvantage is the memory is allocated to the structure at the compile time. So 1000 elements is fixed. So we can save the details of only 1000 students here. So if 1000 student 500 comes to the university, we cannot store it. We have to change the code and recompile it and give the exe to the university. This is a maintenance problem actually. You cannot give the code, update the code for every student, right? So it's better we use a dynamic approach. So what we can do is the dynamic approach. Let us delete this array declaration. Now I'll open a diagram. Masood. Yeah. Let's try to store the data in this fashion. Okay. So we will have a structure. Okay. This one rectangle is one structure. I mean, this entire box is one structure. Okay. We have a structure where we can keep the data along with the link. Link means pointer to the next structure. So that, yeah, this is the data. The data is students data is, this is not 12 actually. So according to our program, student data is more actually, roll number and name and semester details, CGPA details, lot of things are there. Along with that, we will add a pointer so that that pointer stores to another student object. Okay. Similarly, that will have a pointer because we have defined the structure like that. So that pointer will store to another student object. So the chain will grow actually. It will have a connection. We can have any number of students which will grow dynamically. So what we have to do here is we have to declare a structure struct student star next. So this next will have the pointer to the another student structure. Okay, let's try to do this way. So what we have to change, we have to change some parts here. Yeah, let's remove this code. We will write the fresh code. Okay, keeping the method same. I will delete this part. And then I will delete this part as well. Print students part. And yeah, input part, let this be same because inputs are same, right? Name, roll number, number of assignment,
Yes,
all these things are same. Okay. And we are going to call add student. Okay. So in our add student, yeah, we are going to send the same details, but in the add student, what we will do, we'll declare a structure struct and yeah, one more thing I forgot to tell you. The first element in the list is called as head. Okay. This is head. This is the first element. And the last element points to nothing, right? Last element will not have a point, will not have any address to point to because it is the last element. So this is called as tail. Okay, this is called as tail. So let us declare the head. Okay, struct student star head. It's a list of pointers actually. Head is equal to null. Let's initialize this. Okay, head is equal to null. In the add student part, if head is equal to null, what I will do, struct student star, I will have a temporary pointer null, and then I need to allocate the memory at the runtime. So I will use malloc function. TMP is equal to malloc how much size of struct student. So this many size of operator will tell how many, what is the size of that data type. Okay, if I use size of int here, it says the size of int is 4 bytes. Okay, I'm using the size of structure, so it will allocate that many bytes. And one more thing I need to do is typecasting. Struct, because malloc will return a void star pointer, we need to typecast it. Struct student star. Okay, so now temp has got a dynamically allocated memory. Okay, so now let us initialize the head. Okay, tmp pointing to next. You saw, right, this way of convention. See, if it's a normal array, we use dot operator. Okay, but here it's not an array, it's not a normal structure, it's a pointer. Here I have already told that pointer, to access the member of the pointer, we need to use this one, and then next is equal to null, because this is the first element. Let us make the next element as null, and then we have created. Now we need to copy the data to the structure. Okay, I'll show you how we can copy. I'll copy the same code here. String copy student list. Student list was a array. We need to replace this by pointer. Okay, what is the pointer? tmp pointing to name. Okay, we copied the name, and now roll number. tmp pointing to roll number, and then number of assignment. tmp pointing to number of assignment, and then semester. Semester. Let's align this properly. Okay. Okay. So now the CGPA is an array here. CGPA is an array. We have to go through this way only. But only one thing I need to change is tmp pointing to CGPA of I. So I have copied all the data to the tmp pointer here. So now what I'll do, I will assign that pointer to head. Head is equal to tmp. It means now the head, whatever I declared, the head has got the values copied completely, and the next is initialized with null. So what I can tell is this part is, this first element is fine. First element is inserted. I copied the data and I marked the link as null. It means the head is same. That is also the tail, because there is only one element. The head and tail are same. Okay. So I added the code to initialize the head. So if head is equal to null, then only I need to do. It means it's the first element. Okay. Initially head will be null. So after head is assigned with, I am assigning head with tmp. So it will not be null, because tmp is allocated with the memory and head will not be null. So for the next elements, what I'll do, I'll use the same pointer. head pointing to next is equal to TMP. So this is the second element. Head pointing to next is equal to TMP. Okay. So before this, what I'll do, struct student PTR is equal to null. I'll show you, I will explain you, okay? Star PTR is equal to null. While PTR pointing to next not equal to null, and then PTR is equal to PTR pointing to PTR is equal to head. PTR is equal to head. Yeah, PTR will go until next is null. So instead of head, I will use PTR. You understood this, how it works? See, the first iteration you got right when the head is when head pointing to next is null. When the head is null, the first element will be allocated with some memory and assigned with some data, and the next element is marked as null because it is the first element. So when it comes to second element, head will not be null. Head will not be null. It comes here. Okay, what I am trying to do is, see, consider I'm going to the third element. What I have to do from the head, I have to go until the last element is null. So I have to insert it at the end. You got my point?
Yeah.
I have to spawn through this until the next becomes the null actually. So what I did is I have initialized the PTR to, this is PTR to head, and then I am assigning PTR pointing to next is equal to PTR is equal to PTR pointing to next, and I'm checking PTR pointing to next is not equal to null. If PTR pointing to next becomes null, it means it is pointing to the last element. Until that, it is pointing to some student structure, right? You're understanding both Masood and
Yes, sir.
Nitish?
Yes, sir.
So until the last element, I will spawn through, and finally, I will allocate some memory to a TMP, and I will assign. See, PTR has got a last element now. PTR has got a last element. So PTR pointing to next is equal to TMP. It means I've inserted the PST is the structure what I got into the function. So I'm inserted this structure into the last element. PTR pointing to next is equal to last element. So the first element will be head. Head will be created. Frequent elements, it will be inserted at the last. Do I need to track the total number of students here? Masood and Nitish, do I need to have this?
No, sir.
No, I guess.
Yeah, it's not required, right? Because I can I can go through the list until the last element. I can check for the PTR pointing to next is equal to null, and then I can find that it's a last element, and I can terminate the loop. I can print all the numbers, right?
Yes.
So I don't need this. So I will delete this. See, keep one thing in mind that whatever I'm doing now, it is directly asked in the interviews. Actually, they will ask you to write this code. If you know the logic, you can write. You don't need to write 100% correct code. If your code is 80% correct, if your logic is correct, they'll really appreciate it. Yeah, let us try to print the students now. How to print the students? It's easy. So I have a PTR and I have PTR assigned with head now. PTR is equal to PTR pointing to next. It is going. Okay. In between that, I will print it. Okay, I will copy the printing code from here. So print students. Okay. I'll add the print here. So this should be PTR. PTR pointing to name. This should be PTR pointing to number. Pointing to roll number. This should be PTR pointing to number of assignments. And this should be PTR pointing to CGPA of jth element. Printing CGPA in this semester, PTR pointing to CGPA of 5. And finally, I'm going to the next element. Let's assign this properly. Format it. I hope this will work. Yeah. When we compile this code and execute it, the last element was not printing actually. Will you be able to find out the issue, Masood? What was the issue earlier? We just added this printfs, right? We just added this printfs. We copy pasted this printfs and it started printing.
Yes, sir.
So what is happening is the headers got the PTR. It means the list base pointer got it, and we are going through the pointer until the PTR pointing to next element becomes null. Okay. It means we went to the last element. When it comes to the last element, it breaks. Okay. And when it comes to the last element, it breaks, but it did not print. It came out of the loop. So I am printing the last element because PTR has got a last element now. This loop was going until the last element. When it comes to last element, it was breaking, but I added code for printing the last element. Understood, Masood and
No,
Ritesh?
sir.
No.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Let's test
Yes,
this
sir.
program again. Okay. Now we will give good names. Okay. One student. I mean, add student name. Alan. Roll number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number of assignments listed 2. And semesters 2. CGPA 10 out of 10. Second semester 9. Okay, we'll add one more student. Sachin. Roll number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number of assignment completed 4. Semesters 2. 10. 10. So let us print this. Yeah, it printed both. The student name, Sachin's details, and the other one is Alan's detail. I hope it's working fine.